everybody. Welcome to the very first numero uno inaugural stream of the Women in Gaming stream.
Yes.
Awkward. We got to find a new intro for that.
That's fair.
My name is Nicole Fawcette. I'm an Xbox employee. We're going to get into who the heck we all are. But ladies, please introduce yourself.
Kate, go.
I will go. My name is Kate, and I'm a senior producer over here at Mixer. I'm the lady who games.
The lady who games.
And Catarina.
And I am Catarina, and I'm a program manager on Xbox Live.
Yes.
I also game.
Yes. What's shocking?
What? Who knew they would put us all in the same place?
Break the internet.
Yeah, it's true.
So thanks everybody for tuning in today. This is really exciting for us. This is our kind of super secret on the down low
soft launch.
Soft launch.
The stealthy launch is a nice term. I like that.
I'm in marketing. I think it's
it shows.
Rubber stamped. There we go.
Very impressed.
Stealth launch. And really, this show is actually because of everybody watching.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody that has engaged with Women in Gaming on our Twitter channels, our events, showing up at FanFest, shouting out at Phil at events, Phil Spencer from Xbox. People have said, hey, we want to see a live stream. We want to see you guys show up and play some games and talk about who you are, some, topics in the news these days, very hot topics. But it's not just about women. It's going to be about intersectionality. It's very important that we all lift each other up. And so this, for us, is a really kind of positive show where we're going to talk about games we love, things the industry is doing. We're going to bring in some great guests eventually, some really amazing women here at Xbox, other people doing some awesome stuff in the industry, and we're going to do some fun stuff, and hopefully it's a fun hour for us and for you guys.
And actually, I was going to say, we have a graphic currently up that shows exactly what we're talking about on this show
today.
Take it away, Nicole.
Okay, so here's what's on the menu. So we're going to go through and talk about what each of us are currently playing. And, it's coming out of the summer hibernation, gaming hibernation. So some people have been playing more than others. Then we're actually going to be playing a little bit of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is pretty awesome. This is before the game even kind of has its official launch.
Oh, excited.
Yep. And then we're going to do something called Snaps. And that's where we're going to give a snap out to something that's happening really great in the industry that we all think is awesome and want to talk about. And then we're going to play a little fun game. It's a little twist on the camp game Roses and Thorns, and we're calling it one-ups and game overs. So things that are really great and we're excited about, and then things that are not so great, and we're going to have some hard conversations.
Hard combos.
Awkward.
We were almost T-Rexing there in the awkward. It was very impressive.
Little T-Rex.
That just gives you an example of how great Nicole is.
I know. This is like a little girl gang. We love it. So this is going to be fun. So let's talk about what everybody is currently playing. Let's start with Miss Kate.
So here's the thing. I have a sick, sad love affair with Forza, and it's not sick or sad. It's just brilliant. And right now, of course, Forza Horizon 4, the demo just came out today, just checked. And so in anticipation of that, I've been playing a lot of Forza Motorsport 7 and a little bit of Forza Horizon 3 because a Yugo is something that cannot be wasted. I can't deny it. I'm a big Horizon series fan, and this time Horizon 4 is going to be through the streets and the countrysides of lovely old Great Britain.
Yeah.
And I can't stop myself. So I literally am just downloading the demo right now. Also, we've got, just for the record, we've got your questions and chat up here. So we are reading some of those whenever you would like to ask us questions or just say what's up and be like, hey, ladies.
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
That's right.
So anyway.
Wait, before we move on.
Right on.
Okay, because we were talking about the weather effects and how excited you are about that.
Dude, so here's the thing. Forza, the entire dynamic weather series that started in 6, I believe, and then has gone really just out of control. In Horizon 4, I believe they've just outdone themselves. They've added an incredible new soundtrack, which is pretty much typical of the Horizon series. And I'm just psyched. Here's the thing. Nicole and I were talking earlier. I don't have a car, because no. And so it is legitimately my chance to drive anything I want and against other, not just drivatars, but
do donuts in the snow.
Absolutely. As soon as that dynamic weather comes on, you're like, oh, I can literally hear the rolling thunder, and all of a sudden my windshield wipers go on, and I know there is hydroplaning coming.
Yes, I heard today they're doing some sort of Forza simulator thing.
Oh yes, at the
Some
live
celebs.
section, the live
Yeah.
sessions, yeah,
So I think
where they
people are getting
literally are
doused.
getting. Yeah, I think Megan Fox is going to be there amongst others. Like it's pretty
That's
intense.
the future.
When is that
Soon.
happening?
I think
It's either today or it happened yesterday. It might have happened
Oh.
yesterday.
or
Or was it
it's
today?
soon. I'm not sure.
I bet it's today.
Somebody will look
Okay.
it up.
Yeah, things are gonna happen. It's basically like Family Double Dare down there.
Yeah, I know. That would be really awesome. Maybe that's like the future is like in the next, let's call it Forza Horizon 8,
Yeah,
you're
like
getting like
40 or whatever. They call it.
the water.
I hope not. I love
Smell that
technology and I
exhaust.
love like that it evolves, but let's hope it doesn't get
Keep
there.
it at a distance.
Yeah.
Like, please, I need this just as close as my screen is and not a millimeter closer.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, Kat, what are you playing?
Which
So,
I was gonna
I'm-
say, based on what you're playing, would totally make sense. I don't
Yeah,
want any locusts or
sure.
anything
Yeah.
near me.
So I'm super late to the game, but I just started Final Fantasy 15. I'm
is
like,
better late than never.
Amazing.
well, I'm actually really liking it. I'm 4 hours in only.
And does feature cars or
yeah,
one car.
It's a lot of
one car,
driving.
just one car.
Like not not
The
not a car that
driving.
works well.
Yeah, it's been fun. I don't have a lot to say about it because again, I'm only
Okay.
4 hours in. And I'm also kind of back to playing Gears of War 4 again because I had a break
Shocker.
right there. I know, right?
You go back to what you know. I understand.
And I was like,
appreciate it.
nah, I really miss the competitive side of like gaming. And I was like, nah, I'll go back to Gears of War 4 and I'll.
So you're playing Escalation? Is that what you're playing?
Yeah, I'm playing
Yeah.
Escalation, or sometimes to warm up, it's just like King of the
You
Hill,
miss the
so I can
Lancer is
just
really what it is. You
Yeah.
miss that, I
She
guess,
missed the
Um,
curb
flame.
stops and the.
Sure.
you know.
Yeah, and I
get
mean,
it.
going to the events and not playing, it's
Just
still
feels a little bit
heartbreaking.
like-
And so, like, I'm at home, and I just needed to get back into it.
Well, as your co-host, I appreciate
Can
it.
I give you a little Final Fantasy
Oh
tidbit?
yes, please do.
Top tip, pro tip.
Top pro tip. And you already started playing, but if you had to go back in time, what I would recommend if anybody hasn't played is to try and find the hour-and-a-half CGI video. There's like a movie that they made.
What?
It's like an hour-and-a-half long,
What?
full CG. It's crazy. So there's a full movie, and then I think it's like Crunchyroll.
The name is called Brotherhood, apparently.
Oh, is it?
Apparently.
It is. So it's like the backstory
Oh,
of the
an origin
major.
story?
It's
Oh
like an
my
origin
God.
story.
I had no
But
idea.
Even better before, because this game like took like 10 years to make, right? So even better is I think it's on Crunchyroll or Funimation or something, but they did little anime vignettes of all of the four guys. So there's an Ignis episode, and you see him like cooking for Noctis, and it's like his
Oh, wow.
backstory of like how all the friends are related and kind of all their like mundane like jobs before everything
Yeah,
goes
Yeager
crazy in the
Bestowed
game.
upon them,
That's
yeah.
It's such a weird little thing, but I think if I hadn't watched those, I may have not liked the game as much because it's
Okay.
such a weird game.
Yeah.
It's a weird
I don't.
game.
I'll be honest with you. I've not played a Final Fantasy series at all. I know. None of them. I'm that.
I'm
person.
shocked.
Yes.
That's
I don't think you belong
terrible.
here
I
anymore.
know. I'll be outside. It's totally, guys. Okay, it's cool. But no, but
Okay.
you're making it. As soon as you get somebody like I think that's why we love esports so much, right? As soon as you get that personal perspective from those two
Totally.
characters like that, you're like, okay, well now it means something.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit of insight into the lore because it's random AF, that game, I tell you. So it definitely helps.
Okay.
Okay, so the game that I've been
Yes.
playing, I have to wear like not cone of shame or something, but it's not a new game, but it actually was a really great game. So, in the summertime, I feel like it's hard for me to catch up on all the new games everybody is playing. So I usually accumulate like a backlog. And one of those
We all do.
games, all of us do. And I should have been playing like big games like
AAA titles.
AAA titles.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I was playing like this really fun kids game called OKKO, which is actually made by Capybara, which is
Oh.
one of my favorite game studios. And I'm from Toronto, and shout out Toronto indie game scene. And so they remade like this Cartoon Network game called OKKO, and it's just like a little brawler. Like honestly, you're like this little dude, and you collect all these superheroes, and the game is actually like playing a cartoon episode for 3 hours or
Really?
4 hours. It's a ridiculously adorable.
Love it.
Achievements on fleek, easy, just like
Oh,
make
no,
them
that's
rain.
I'll have to look into it.
That's
Make 'em rain.
satisfying.
So unfortunately, that is at the top of my queue, if I'm being totally honest. But
But that's okay. That's like, come
okay.
on. Like,
Yep.
you be your own gamer and your own rainbow all in one.
exactly, we all have lives. We all got to like make gaming fit where it can.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm playing Clash Royale as usual, and games like that on my phone. So,
Yep.
but today we're gonna play Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Very excited.
Pretty
I'm very,
rad.
very excited about this. I think just because the entire Tomb Raider series is, and especially the reboots, have been just out of control.
Yeah.
So
And I think, when we talked about this yesterday on like, what are we going to play? We all thought this was kind of like weirdly symbolic
yeah.
that we're
Yep.
playing a Lara Croft game on like our first Women in Gaming episode.
And it's new. I mean,
It's
we're like
new.
we are some of the first people to be able to play this.
Totally. So, Kat, why don't you
should I
fire it up?
Fired up.
And
Kat.
we'll talk about this.
That's- yeah.
Definitely.
And I'm monitoring chat, so if you have any, it looks like Rafai says OKKO was a fun game. So you got some love there.
Yay!
Got
I'm
some love there.
totally justified. And definitely feel free to ask us any questions. We
Sure.
didn't really talk about who the heck we are. I know you
Yeah.
two are like well-known, famous
Well,
personalities
no,
on the internet
no,
these
I
days.
don't think so.
No.
Little old me.
Nicole, why don't you talk about yourself first off? I mean, I'd like to hear more about your background.
Oh God.
'Cause it's great.
It's okay.
Oh,
it's okay.
stop it some more.
I'm a weirdo. I work in the marketing team. People aren't supposed to see me. I'm usually behind the camera. I've been here at Xbox for 8 years. Not here in Redmond. I actually worked in the Canadian office for 4 years, which was pretty awesome. And so got to know that community and actually came into working at Xbox from kind of the community, kind of similar to Kat's story. Like, went to tons of events, met with a lot of people. I wrote video game reviews for free on the side when I had my total day job in another kind of marketing firm, just so I could get in the gaming industry, get to meet people. So and it's funny, the outlet I wrote for, I split it with another guy. And maybe how typical of women. So I took all the easy games. I did all the Harry Potter movie game reviews.
Okay.
I like those.
Hey, I was
I
gonna
have
say,
to- I
watch
have a
out. That's pretty good.
confession.
Bring it on.
I really like those.
They were pretty good. I did a lot of the like B to C rated type titles, things that would just kind of come through the door.
Yeah.
While he kind of cherry picked, the AAA games.
the shoot 'em ups and
So shoot 'em ups and the big
Drive 'em around.
blockbusters. I took like,
Gotcha.
Dirt 4 and all that sort of stuff. And so I obviously I worked in marketing for a long time, but loved games. And when the time was right, I was able to kind of leverage the people knew me, people knew my passion, and then I worked in marketing. So right now I work on the Gears of War franchise. I know it's
Sorry,
a little
that
Gears-
sigh was from Katarina.
It's a little-
She's a fan.
She's a Gears
obviously,
fangirl.
and a fangirl for sure.
fangirl.
I try to be cool around people that work in Gears. I don't know if I'm very successful because I'm always
They're-
like, ooh, okay, like
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
very cool. Coalition is an amazing team.
Awesome.
So rad. And so I'm a brand manager, and I manage the Gears franchise, which is pretty cool. So
What a great franchise to manage, too, by the way. I mean,
I
you're talking
know.
about, see, I was going to say, Katarina and I, later today, little plug here, to do the Gears All Access show. which is
Yeah.
what she and I get to co-host together, which is so much fun. And we want to talk about not just a great title with a great franchise behind it and a great coalition behind it,
totally.
but also a fantastic burgeoning esports scene. I shouldn't say burgeoning. It's obviously very established,
Yeah.
but it's also like,
yeah,
it's still like,
It's so
got
cool.
that new startup momentum, and it's so much fun. Oh,
Lots of
And
good
you were able
energy.
to go to New Orleans.
I
too,
did. I
so
know.
Yeah.
yeah.
It blew my mind. I had
Dude.
never been to anything like
like a LAN
that.
tournament like that?
I've
or-
been
yeah.
to like game jams, and I had been to some LAN parties back in the day.
Yeah, that shows street cred. Don't say that. That shows street cred. I think we
Yep.
can all agree, right,
I
Chet?
know. But I wasn't I hadn't gone to many official esports tournaments. It just wasn't where my personal interest was. So
Totally
hey,
fair.
But then, yeah, going to NOLA and seeing like like it really is a family. Like people know each other. They
really
have known
is.
each
Gears
other for
fam.
years.
Hashtag Gears fam.
Hashtag Gears fam. Yeah, it was really eye opening. It was very cool to see the culture there. So, yeah, love to kind of go to see more. Okay, so
Looking at a
we're
cutscene.
we're
correct?
looking at a cutscene.
Oh, this is a
Um,
127-hour
this
situation.
is-
Press
Oh.
X, dear God.
Oh, it's a lot of it. Okay.
Oh God. Oh God.
This is I find with Tomb Raider games, I always feel so bad for her.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
Like, can a girl get a win?
None. It takes many hours, and you sitting there going, I sometimes what I for me, like, I'll come home at the end of a long day and just really want to like zen out, and I
Yeah.
love Tomb Raider for the puzzle pieces, which can be very zen. But I'll be honest with you. This is definitely, for me, this is a Saturday afternoon kind
Oh,
of game
totally.
where it's like I could either watch an action adventure movie starring one of my Chris favorites, Hemsworth, Pine, or
The
who's the other
trifecta?
one? Wait. There's another one. Chris
Evans?
Pine, Evans, Pratt as well. There's
Oh,
four.
There's a
Not a trifecta. That's four.
that's-
Four
there's a
facta.
square.
But and this is the kind of thing where it's like it's such an immersive and beautiful game to begin with.
Yep.
Today on the Blue Show we're talking. That's another plug. Sorry guys, and also not sorry. But today on the Blue Show we're Tomb Raider themed because it's a Blue Show is a PlayStation show. But I will say that one of the things we're talking about, and it's an immersive quality that they do such a good job of over there at Crystal Dynamics, is the sound, the music, the
Yeah.
score
Oh,
behind
totally.
it is beautiful. There's this great story that happened for the original reboot, the original rebooted Tomb Raider, where the composer lived down the street from what I think was a metalsmith or a blacksmith.
Oh,
somebody who
really?
worked with metal.
Yep.
And he just happened to see him working on stuff and said, "Hey, would you make us an instrument that da da da?" They created, I think they just call it the instrument, and it's the sound of the island. Of course, the first
yeah.
reboot, she gets marooned on an
Yeah, yeah.
island, or her and her team. And it is remarkable because they also use what looks like a fabricated bow
Okay.
as a like from her from her arrow bow, but they use it as like a bow from a wood instrument, or not woodwind. What do they call that? What's that called? String instrument.
yeah, string instrument.
But they do this like haunting stuff, and it's just so cool. And having heard some of the soundtrack and the composition here is really incredible.
Yeah, I mean they do an amazing job of
That.
turning this into like a cinematic
Yeah, that's the word. That's
like
exactly
franchise,
yeah.
right? Like
Oh, here we
Think
go.
about-
Axe.
I'm
so you want to go to the craggy wall. See where it's kind of like a
Yeah.
bit craggy. And it's funny, like you kind of just get back in the muscle memory.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
playing
yeah.
The first one, but yeah, I mean, I loved the first one. I scoured that. I think I 100%ed that whole thing. Found every single
Every
artifact on the island. It was such a great game, and I mean, this franchise has come such a long way. Like, think about old school Lara.
How old? Yeah.
Which
There's some-
I have some heart for. I know a lot of
think we all-
people.
It's in fairness, I feel like the Tomb Raider series is a lot like a lot of Nintendo games where everybody has an experience with it at some point.
Totally.
You know, because it was so prevalent back. I mean, it was, and she was genuinely one of the first female-led gaming franchises, first female-led,
Totally.
storylines that also made us want to like kick ass and take names.
Totally. I mean, like, who here dressed up for her at least once for
I
Halloween?
actually never did any
You
kind
and
of
Lennox.
cosplay.
Lennox said-
Oh, yes.
There it is.
Yes, Bish. Yeah, totally.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
you're right. When we were kids, the options were like Peach, from,
Right?
like, Mario,
Yes.
or Lara Croft, and I mean, Peach is
Yeah.
great and all, but
Yeah, that's true. I get that. I get
Yeah.
that completely. Let's-
or Daisy. Daisy didn't come. Wait, she was like. I feel like
she's
she's a '90s kid.
yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Good, we're almost at 1,000 views. So,
Oh,
hey guys,
wow.
thank you so much
so much for that stealth launch.
Yeah.
guys.
Sorry, not sorry there, Nicole.
Sorry, not sorry. I was like, nobody's gonna watch. We can be ourselves. Let's just, let's go
Yeah.
crazy. No.
Hey, look at that. I love it. Well, I think part of it too is, I mean, for me, I'm selfishly super excited about seeing this gameplay for the first time.
Yeah.
So, and once again, she starts off this game with that tourniquet around whatever it is that she's done. I missed it.
know.
And we have now hit 1,000 viewers.
That's
Thank you so
fantastic.
much
Thanks
for being
for
here.
joining us.
Thanks for joining
Exactly.
us. So, we want to use this segment obviously to show off people's gameplay and talk about being a woman in games
Yep.
as well. So, I kind of gave a little bit about my story. Kat, what about
Yeah,
you? Do
Kat.
people know
Yeah.
your long storied history?
I was gonna say multi-country.
I've-
Well, actually, both of you are international. I love it.
Yes.
I've written a long blog post when it
You
was
did?
like my 1 year anniversary
Yeah.
here at Xbox because I was feeling just so nostalgic and I was like, I kind of feel like I need to share my story just out in the world, so I did that.
Put out the feels.
But I'll do a brief summary here.
Yeah.
So I'm originally from Portugal, if anyone is wondering where this accent comes from. And I lived there my entire life. I only moved to the US 2 years ago, and I've been a huge gaming fan since I'm like 4 years old. So I played everything, but Xbox kind of changed my life. So I started playing Halo 1 and 2 with my friends and in their places, and we had like LAN houses, and I was like, I really like that this brings out my competitive side, and it's a good outlet for it. And so on Halo 2, then Xbox Live was launched, and it was like you could play online, which was mind-blowing to me of like, oh, now I can play with anyone in the world.
Yeah.
Do you want to take it over while I
Now,
talk?
let Nicole take it over.
yeah,
because
I'll
Nicole
take
can
it
take it
over.
over.
I'm fine with it. These nails are getting a little crazy.
And
Sorry, that's all right.
and so I really liked how powerful that was, that I could just like play with anyone in the world. And my dad, so I actually asked, I have probably a collection of 100 or 200 games for PlayStation 2. So I played probably every game out there that there is for PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
And then when PlayStation 3 came out, I was like, Dad, I really, really want a PlayStation 3. And he went to the shop and he got me an Xbox 360. And I was like, that's
Close,
this is not
Dad, but
a PlayStation 3.
not.
This is an Xbox. And he was like, well, it's a console, so it's kind of the same thing. And I'm
Dad
like,
rules.
this is
Dad rules.
really not what I wanted. But I was like, sure. I guess
You're
I'll
the
give
best.
it. And so I perfectly remember it came with Cameo, and so I played that
Oh,
game, and I
yeah.
was like, okay, this is I like this game. But then I didn't buy any other game. I continued to play on my PlayStation 2. I continued to play the first Xbox at my friends' places, and then like a year later, I think that's when the first Gears of War came out.
Yeah.
And so I was casually walking by the GameStop in my hometown, and I was like, I've read about this game. And the cover looks cool. I'm just gonna buy it, and I have a stale Xbox at home. I need to use it. And so I bought it. And that's when my life changed, basically, because I started playing it.
Yeah.
There was a huge community of Portuguese people playing Gears of War. I think 1 year later, when I was 15, I was really, really into competing in Gears of War. So I started organizing a lot of online tournaments every month. And then I created a small startup called GoPro, which I 100% should have trademarked.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know. right? I know. And
Wow.
so, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Some regrets over that.
That's fair. That's fair. But we can all agree that Catarina has great ideas.
Yes.
And so every 3 months, we were working with the biggest LAN in Portugal. There was 300, 400 people going to the LAN
Shoot.
and working with Microsoft for the prizes and having the consoles and everything. And we were running Gears of War and Halo tournaments at the time.
Nice.
And so I did that for 3 years, like from when I was 15 to 18. And then when I got to 18, because streaming was not this big,
Yeah.
and I was not really earning any money out of like my small startup, and
Yeah.
it was like, okay, maybe I need to figure out what I need to do with my life. But I
Yeah.
definitely wanted to work on the gaming.
And this was when you were 18, correct? Yep. Yeah, okay. So,
And so-
already ahead of me. Continue.
Yeah.
And so I was like, maybe I
Making
want to
us
be a
look
game
bad.
developer.
Yeah, I was going to say. Okay,
Um,
that makes sense. Sure,
And
sure.
so I tried, and I joined college, and I have a bachelor's and a master's in computer science
Nice.
with a major in game development. And then I did a postgraduate in management and marketing because I felt like I also needed those skills.
Sure.
And then I joined Microsoft. So I joined Microsoft back in Portugal 5 years ago. I ran the Microsoft Student Partner Program, and then I was a support engineer for Azure, and then I was a technical evangelist for Azure, which was the first role I had when I came to the US, which was honestly like a lifelong dream. But my goal was always, and I told this story a million times so people would actually know what I was about. I was like, I'm here because my end goal is to join Xbox. I'm a huge fan. Like, it completely changed my life, and it gave me like a purpose. And so I'll try not getting emotional. And so, I mean, when I first got an offer, so a little bit over a year ago, to join Xbox, it was just like my lifelong dream just coming true, which was amazing. And every day I still like get into Studio A where we work, and I look at the huge Xbox logo there, and I'm like, wow, where am I? So that's how I got here. I love my job. I love this industry. I love our community. Honestly, that's kind of my motivation to do what we do every day.
I love Catarina's story because it's like, it really is about telling people what you want. It's so sometimes it's so hard to say like what you want out of life and stuff, but like, kind of same for me. The more you tell people I want to work there, or like this is what I want to do, you find people in your life that like can help you out. Help you out or keep you in mind. And like sometimes it's like the smallest little, you might think it's like a non-opportunity that opens doors other places.
Never know.
And
people want to see you succeed. I mean, I think that's
totally
that's I love watching people succeed. I'm sure the rest of you guys are also in for sure. You have walked into what looks like a shrine of some kind.
We're in Cozumel, and I really wish we
Assassin's
were
Creed.
She's even got the little push that Assassins kind of has.
Beautiful.
It looks like it's Day of the Dead Day.
Yep, that sounds about
we're
right.
in Cozumel.
Beautiful, by the way.
Oh, it looks gorgeous.
We had a surround sound here. I don't know if we can hear it on.
I was just in Mexico, and this is giving me like Mexico
some
vibes.
flashbacks.
I was. We were looking at your photos.
Yes.
Came back, and I was also doing the same thing and getting very jealous because I'm jealous. So it was good. I like it.
Okay, so Kate, what about you, girl?
I'm a bit of a wild card.
You are.
I am a bit of a hootenanny. So I started my career in Hollywood as an associate producer for
Fancy.
I know, right?
channel.
Big time.
Whoa, buddy. Let me pump the brakes here for a minute. No, I didn't know anything about gossip or Hollywood or anything like that when I got the job, and I was very, very, very lucky to have gotten it. And basically, I discovered that I'm the worst and just not at all passionate about Hollywood gossip that way. I think there's some great movies and incredible talent. Let's be clear. And I love seeing somebody's dress on the red carpet as much as the 10 other people. But sort of just got very lucky again and got headhunted to come work at a very small team on the Xbox Live division when they were just starting like some of their college pick'em stuff for the NCAA. NFL? No. Yeah, NCAA, NFL, college stuff. Anyway, and just I got a chance to work on. At that point, Kinect was a new and burgeoning piece of equipment and technology, and so there were very high-minded ideas and really exciting thoughts about what we could possibly do with it and how we could engage the audience of this new, really still a relatively new Xbox Live online group of gamers around the world, and how we can expand to all-up entertainment offerings. And of course, none of the things we did actually came to fruition, but that's neither here nor there.
That's dreams.
But I will be honest with you, it was one of my dream jobs at the time because it gave me the ability to learn new and different pieces of technology and to engage with a whole slew of people across the Xbox ecosystem. And quite frankly, that's when I fell in love with gaming. My big up to Mama Yeager and Dad here. They didn't let me play video games as a child. No. Could watch all the news I want, but it didn't. At any rate, no. I came into the gaming space late, quite honestly, and really started my gaming in the Xbox 360 days for sure, and then went to the Slim, and now I'm obviously still on the Xbox One, but not the X yet. But we'll see. Anyway,
Kate,
I got to get some stuff.
You were
out.
in a training video.
Oh God.
What?
Well, I I've been in
know
many.
about
Which
this.
one are you talking about?
I can't remember. It
Oh,
might have been
Lord.
for like Windows Phone or something. Was when one of my first early years is when that's how I
I
recognized
really
Kate.
want to know.
I was
this
like, that
story.
girl.
Man, I need to know this too. So actually, that's a great segue, Nicole. So here's the thing. While I was like wanted to be a producer for the longest time, I also I don't know, I stumbled into doing on air stuff, and I had been doing voiceover work for the longest. And voiceover is great. Voiceover, you get to be yourself in the booth, and you get to make crazy sounds out of your mouth and do whatever. And I loved it, and that was really, really cool. And then I made the transition at one point. Actually, I think my first on-air thing was for an Xbox pilot with the UFC back in the day,
wow.
and it was they flew us out to Denver and got
That's
to interview.
awesome.
It was
That's
awesome.
great.
Actually, speaking of which, part of the reason we were there because Rod Ferguson was there,
Oh wow.
shilling for what I believe was Gears 2 at the time.
Wow.
It was a long time ago, long.
That's
but
what, 10 years ago?
it's okay. Let's not put the math on that one.
Just
please.
saying.
Good Lord. Good Lord. Maybe it was Gears
This just
3.
means that you're very experienced in our
Seasoned.
industry now.
And
So,
that
I mean-
is how, and basically what ended up happening there is I ended up being, once again, I've just been very lucky. I think we can all agree on this
Yeah.
couch that we have been all very, very lucky
Mhm.
and acknowledging that because I think that's important.
Totally.
And not that luck is the only thing, of course.
Yeah,
'cause I
for
think
sure.
luck will get you only so far, and then you have to really prepare yourself and try to succeed and go for it.
Gotta work hard.
And I ended up getting I was been doing on camera stuff now with Xbox all over the world, and as well as sort of I've worked for Valve before. They sent me to Seoul. That was an
That's
exciting
awesome.
moment for Dota, and I got to work at E-League. So I transitioned.
Oh, that's
at one
pretty
point.
rad.
So what happened at one point? I'm going to make this story very short here because I'm sure everybody's like, "Kate, stop talking," which is totally fair. But what ended up happening was sort of in the transition of, now I understand how gaming works, and I'm really excited about that. There was a beautiful time of 3 months that I had basically at that point decided to go full-time freelance because I was doing a lot of hosting stuff and voiceover. And then before my next gig really officially began, which was back one of the producing houses here. Anyway, I had 3 months, and I just decided, well, I'm really intrigued. One day I was really intrigued by esports, and I just dove right in. And I think what honestly got me excited initially was a MOBA. I think it was like a League LAN tournament that I had
Okay.
seen of some kind, and it was just, and I just remember just being completely in awe and crying and being so excited. It's
Wow.
bad, but it's also really, really good. Point is that then that's kind of how I'm at that place where, in much the same way you were talking about, going for the gold and wanting to do something, esports has kind of become my just absolute love, and I'm lucky enough to be able to do stuff with you, Kat, and to be able to do stuff on This Week in Esports happening every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern.
It's the fourth plug today.
I know I'm a plugging machine, and I don't care. JK. But yeah, so I now I get to work at Mixer as a senior producer over here, and be able to
Doing great stuff.
do great stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
End of spiel.
It's so cool how when you ask different people, everybody kind of has a very different story about how they end up in the games industry. It's kind of like the island of misfit toys.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
There are traditional ways people come in through school
Sure.
or engineering degrees, but then, a lot of times it is just, hey, I had a transferable skill set.
Yeah.
I love games. I figured out how I could take my skills and put them here. And
And sometimes the exact opposite happens, where it's people who have no interest in the gaming industry or games, but do have an engineering degree and want to come in, and because they
Totally.
think it will, and it is a challenging industry to work in,
Yeah.
and then they come in and they just completely fall in love with the industry.
Yeah.
And that's so powerful too. It's
Mhm.
like how people can just come in and think they don't like games, but then they actually just, oh wow,
Totally.
this is amazing.
I will say this. One of the things that got me in love with gaming to begin with but part of it was the hosting aspect, because I don't think I've ever done an interview with a dev or a designer. And I know this is going to sound way dramatic, but I've never done an interview, to my knowledge, where the person wasn't in love with what they did.
yeah,
Yeah.
That
Totally.
that's just across the board. It is not the exception, it is the rule, and it doesn't have to be, certainly, but it is remarkable.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's
do
not
this,
like
yeah.
it's not that our jobs are completely perfect.
Oh
and
God,
we
no,
don't,
no, no, no.
don't ever face any issues or
No.
No,
it's
no,
not
for
like
sure.
that at all. But in the end of the day, when you look back at your like last 3 months,
Mhm.
the ups definitely make up for any downs, and everyone is super passionate about it.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of a thing because I think a lot of people see us and they're like, oh my God, I want to work at Xbox. And it is a dream. It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
But it's also something you can do at home, like today. Like, you can teach yourself Unity. You can teach yourself game design tools. You can, if you love art, you can start to draw. If you love game stories, you can start to write. Like,
Write
there's
reviews like you were talking
Yeah,
about
write
earlier.
reviews, go to community events. It's like such a very accessible thing. Whereas, like, sometimes other jobs, you just have to be in the pipe until you get to the end, like being a lawyer or a doctor or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a recipe for success. Is really like, if you do have a dream and you really like want to make it happen, just make sure that you spend the time to actually make it happen and put in the hard work.
Put
'cause
in the hard work.
things will happen. Like, I'm 100% sure when people actually put in the work.
Totally.
So-
Perfect. I was gonna say maybe
I just jumped
Oh,
off
yeah.
a ledge and
Oh,
killed
okay.
myself.
So you
so-
killed
actually,
Marta.
works out really well
happens.
because we are at about 36 after the hour, which means
Right.
it might be time for
Oh.
For snaps.
snappy.
Okay, so I hope.
Tell us, Nicole.
Apologies that we were playing a lot of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And we didn't get to go into it too much. There was a lot of cutscenes.
There's a lot of cuts
at the beginning,
which is
but
kind of a
it's
Tomb Raider thing,
fine.
right? Yeah, it's you know, I
Totally.
get it.
So hopefully
Beautiful.
you guys have seen kind of what the game looks like, and you can see so far at least it's building on 1 and 2 and a lot of the mechanics. And I'm already playing. I'm already kind of getting that like muscle memory. I'm gonna play this weekend for sure.
I can keep playing maybe while
Okay,
we talk.
yeah,
So
See, this is what
I don't know.
happens.
I don't know.
This is what
Yeah, now
happens, by the way.
I'm really into the game.
yeah.
So
So snaps is like kind of like the way I think about it is like, remember that episode in like, or that movie Legally Blonde where they do like all the snaps in like the
yes.
hair salon or whatever.
Yes.
Just like,
I'm familiar
again,
with it.
dating myself on 90s rom-coms and stuff. But it's kind of like just a good like empowerment to like gesture to awesome stuff that's happening. And so it has happened to be celebrating this week a really cool initiative that Bonnie Ross, who is one of our kind of female leaders here at Xbox, was part of. But there are also a bunch of other women a part of with Ad Council. And so Ad Council, if people aren't familiar, my understanding is that, you know, they're the ones kind of the regulatory body of the way people advertise what we show to our children. Fun fact, this is such a Canadianism. I'm
Let's
sorry.
hear it.
But one of the
No, that also the sorry part was probably the most Canadian. Continue.
I know.
love it.
But
love it.
one of the most popular ads in Canada is actually from an ad council type company, and it's called the House Hippo. And that's all I'll say.
House Hippo.
And you should look it up. You should
YouTube it
You
at
should
your own
YouTube
discretion.
it. It's called House Hippo. It's freaking hilarious. Well, it's not actually hilarious, but it's one of the most popular ads in Canada from my childhood. Anyway, back to Bonnie.
We're learning a lot about Nicole.
I
today.
know. So Bonnie tells her story in this ad about, you know, creating these Halo universes. And she really just encourages girls today to aim to take her job, which I'm sure there are many women even here today
Yeah.
that'll be
Yeah.
like, your job? Yeah, hell yeah.
I tweeted that out because that's the line that I really loved about that was like, there was a girl there who said like, I want your job, and it's
We
so
actually have a
powerful.
video too, if you want to see.
Yeah.
It.
Oh, okay,
No, no,
then
but, like, I
won't
love it.
Spoil
Don't spoil it.
I won't spoil it.
Okay,
Here,
Lennox,
yeah.
let's roll it.
How are you today?
Good.
I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I bring the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
So that's the ad. That's the
Yes,
part
how
you're talking
beautiful.
about.
Yeah, where Bonnie, it's just so powerful what she says, which is like, I want you to have my job, and
I know.
that's so powerful, and I feel like that must motivate like girls to really get into.
Yeah, into gaming. And I really hope it does, because, you know, what kind of struck me about that ad and how awesome I thought this campaign was, like, there was nothing like that for
No.
us. Like, I can't really remember a time where, again, like you guys, we played lots of games, but I never saw game designers. Like, I never really even considered, like, that as a career or a career path. It was always very kind of,
Like in my mind, the most empowering commercial I very weirdly remember, which, and I don't even, and I look at it now as not particularly empowering, more as just hurts my feet, is Cole Haan that did a Nike commercial. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was way
No.
back in the day, but Cole Haan, this incredible shoemaker,
Yeah.
they make these very, very comfortable, very stylish
Yeah.
shoes, and they partnered with Nike a while back. And there are these women in full basketball gear wearing high heels up and down a court.
Oh, cool.
And I just remember thinking, yeah, now I'm like, ugh. Yeah, so this one definitely resonates more than that, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's so cool that Bonnie is there basically like extending,
Yeah.
to the next generation to be like, come play in our universe, come build our universe.
Yeah.
Like you have an opportunity, which is just, it's just fantastic. So there is more information on 343industries.com if people want to go and read the backstory. I think it was filmed over the summer or spring. And there's other women. I think it's like Boeing, Google, yeah, NASA.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
So there's definitely a few. It's not just like I know I've been talking a lot about Xbox today, but it's not just an Xbox related thing. But obviously we're super proud of that. I'm super proud to see somebody who we know from our women in gaming team. And Bonnie is actually, some internal tidbits. She's one of our executive sponsors for Women in Gaming. She's one of the original kind of founders of this from over 20 years ago. So it's crazy. It's definitely in her to promote, women and girls coming up. And I think it's such a cool thing that, we all have a responsibility to that next generation to kind of pull them up and bring them with us as we like make strides. So it's snaps to Bonnie for sure. Snaps. There we go. Okay, so we are going to segue into our next topic, which is going to be interesting.
This is the. You know what though? This is we don't exist in a void.
We
Let's
don't.
be clear. And Nicole, tell us a little bit about
One-ups and game over.
I can't handle.
Yeah, one-ups and game overs, which we came up with as a cute little.
This was when we were brainstorming about what we wanted to do in the show. So Nicole came up with this really cool idea of the roses and thorns.
I did not start this game,
but you did mention it, and
Yeah.
it was such a good idea. And we were like, maybe we need to just like correlate that to the gaming world. How can we
Yeah.
name this where it's like, nah? And so we came up with the one.
Yeah.
Game over.
I want to
That's
see it
right.
on a T-shirt just for the record.
Yeah, totally.
We should
We
make one.
should get some.
Okay, good idea.
So one-ups and game overs is a variation on Roses and Thorns, which is I think it's just traditionally a camp game, summer camp game. And you hear it a lot on podcasts. Like I listen to the Amy Schumer podcast. It's definitely an M-rated podcast.
Not safe for
As well as like other podcasts where they talk about, sometimes they limit it to like, hey, what was just the good parts of the show or what was the bad parts of the show? But I'm going to, we're going to hear talk about the industry.
Sure.
And, it's our unfiltered take on what's going on.
Yeah.
And so one-ups is going to be awesome things that we've noticed in the industry or have caught our attention, things like that make us feel good. And game overs are going to be the less, happy,
Some of the
uplifting realities that go on. Would love to hear from the chat.
Yeah.
I think this is a perfect time if you're seeing things and want to throw out some topics to us as well.
Yeah.
It's funny, as we started this morning, I was like, man, I only have like 2 game overs. It's like, we got to think of some one-ups, but maybe we'll get there.
Yes.
So why don't we start with the first game over, which I saw last night as I was at the gym and working out, which was like that Dr. Disrespect had gunshots fired at his home last night.
Yep.
And so I'm sure you guys are very aware in those chat. I'm assuming you guys all know who Dr. Disrespect is. Super amazing streamer, hilarious, just like just great talent. Apparently, he and his family had to leave their home yesterday. Authorities are involved, and so just terrifying.
Just terrifying. Anytime, this kind of goes with like the swatting that people do sometimes, and that can be and the doxing that can happen. The worst part is that actually coming from the Hollywood perspective, which I'm so sorry
Yeah.
that I have. But no, the
think
point
it's
is,
important,
it is an
though.
interesting thing though, because
Yeah.
culturally speaking, this is we treat our celebrities, and he's absolutely a celebrity.
Absolutely.
And he's transitioned in some ways outside of just not just the streaming community, but the streaming community is so prevalent, and it really is. This is how we treat our celebrities. They are these cultural icons, right? Which they can either be lifted up or people try to tear them down, and it's just unfortunate. I know there was some issues earlier. What was it, last year? He and his wife had some issues.
That's
and,
right.
Yep.
And the as say what you will, he did come off and was very clear and respectful. Dr. Disrespect was respectful, and caught to it all on his own stream, and had some videos that quite frankly was really inspiring in terms of taking ownership and things like that. I mean, it all sucked, obviously, but this kind of thing, when you involve the family, when you involve
That's
the
not
kids, like
okay. Yeah.
it's just not okay. It's
and
not
and
okay.
he's just doing what he loves. So that's
Oh gosh, that's a great way to
just
put
what-
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
it really hit me about the news yesterday was like he's streaming and he's doing what he loves. He's actually doing all of this to support his family
absolutely.
and his wife
It's
and
his
his
job,
kids,
yeah.
and just because of that, just being attacked like that's not okay, and putting people at risk just because you have some problem with a person.
Yeah.
It's
Or a
just not okay.
perceived problem with the person too.
Yes,
like,
exactly,
let's be
because
clear. It's
Whether
it's
yes.
real or
yeah,
not.
absolutely.
Yeah, and
That's an unfortunate.
It's interesting that you bring the Hollywood angle in, because
Yeah.
you're right. It's you see people on stream. We kind of dehumanize people
For
all
sure.
the time, right? And you have to remember at the end of the day that he's just a guy
Right.
living his life
Yeah.
with children and a wife. And when that camera turns off, he is, he's a family
He
man,
puts
or
his
he's
pants on the
whatever.
same way we do, one leg at a time.
And it is heartbreaking to hear, a lot of the stuff that we deal with or we hear in the industry usually is limited just to Twitter or just to online trolling and stuff.
Yeah.
So to kind of break that and now invade somebody's privacy, come into their home, like that's very scary. And it's something, again, as another game over the Jacksonville, shooting, it really rocked our industry
did.
hard.
That was incredibly
And
scary.
so this is like yet another example of that, on a more intimate scale. But that's obviously something that is on our minds and is a huge game over for us. I mean,
and
that
just-
sucks.
Just talking about a little bit about the Jacksonville
Yes. Yeah,
shooting. So, and a bit of cultural opinion here. So it's been very, very different for me to deal with these kind of happenings here, just because, for example, where I'm from in Portugal, weapons are not legal at all. So I was never exposed growing up to the risk of going somewhere and
like
there
school.
must be a shooting. Like there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
And so now coming here and actually working at esports events and then seeing what happened at Jacksonville, which was one that really hit home, because I mean that could have happened anywhere.
Yeah.
It was really, really hard for me to even process, like, how do I feel about this? How can we make sure that every time we go into an event, our players and everyone is safe? And so it was a hard one to deal with.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I hate to say that the upside is like an increased
Level of security.
level of security.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
It's the
you're
unavoidable
running and-
byproduct.
And the
of something
tournament organizers
tragic.
are doing a great job. MLG is like is making sure that everyone is super safe, and they make everyone feel super safe. And Gfinity and UCG and everyone that works, they were super diligent to make sure that everyone is safe. So.
Totally.
Yeah, it looks like our chat has quite a few opinions on this, and it's some are talking about mental health, some are talking about the gun control in different countries. Thank you for whomever defined what swatting is, because I mentioned it, but we had forgotten to sort of unpack that a little bit. But thank you to whomever it was that did that.
Does that still happen?
Yes, 100%. In fact, I think I want to say there was, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say there was a case just maybe like last week, 2 weeks ago, where it had been like there was some sort of something had happened to someone, and I apologize, I'm a little foggy on the details, but I remember there was some sort of like someone had gotten shot, like there was some actual carnage over it, unfortunately. So it's just anytime like the digital world meets the real one, it has some good and bad consequences,
Totally.
right? It's just a balance anyway. I mean, it's awful. I don't even like. Truthfully, it's hard to even like after Orlando, it was very difficult to try and figure out how to. We were talking about it 4 days later on This Week in Esports, and we were trying to figure out what do you
How do you make
say?
sense?
How do you and yeah, and it's also a remarkable additional piece of complication when just like what happened in Orlando, the stream was live.
Yeah.
We
Oh, yeah.
in fairness, we streaming services make a very big deal, and understandably so, that we are as quick. You know, we're that latency is sub-second, and it's a great thing. But in this one instance, and certainly in instances like this, it can be, you know,
And
it can just happen in real time.
Yeah.
yeah, and just a small warning, and because someone mentioned mental health, if you do look for the video, just
Thank you.
make sure that it can be triggering for some people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Take
So
care.
yeah,
Well, on that note, maybe.
Okay. We need something happy.
Good grief.
do.
Jeez, that was awesome.
So I would love to hear from the chat if there's anything
Yeah.
they're excited about. We did
Yeah.
talk about the start of video game Christmas.
Start of Christmas.
Kind of starts
It's a good
now.
way. Yeah.
You know, obviously Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Forza.
yeah.
There's that Call of Duty.
Yeah, Blackouts.
There it
Yep.
is.
So it's kind of like it's starting.
Fallout
We're-
76 coming. Yeah.
Fallout 76, Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's right.
Holy cow.
I have
Battlefield.
too many games coming
Yeah.
up.
Oh,
Too many. It's a
yeah.
problem.
And
It
a
is a
solution.
problem.
It's awesome.
First world problem.
I guess we should also mention
Oh,
that Women in
yeah.
Games, the conference, that what were we talking about?
Yeah,
earlier?
so Women in Games,
right now.
there's a big organization in Europe, which is Women in Games, Week J, if you want to
International.
look it up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh,
WJ.
So is it Europe or I actually don't know.
There, it's good
Not
question.
entirely sure.
They have an
Maybe.
international wing.
Believe it
Okay.
is, Yeah.
And so basically they're hosting a big conference, or they were today because this was 8 hours ago,
Yeah.
time zone differences.
Yeah.
But they were
Putting it-
hosting a big conference celebrating a lot of women in gaming,
Yeah.
meaning engineers, women in esports, hosts, like everyone. There were prizes, and they had a stream on Facebook, who was their big sponsor for this event.
Facebook, of
Awesome.
course.
So if
getting
you
much
wanna
more
look
into
it up,
gaming right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, if you want to look it up, you just actually need to join their open group on Facebook, which is Week
nice.
J. So you can just go there, join the group, and watch the stream that they have.
Brilliant. I
Yep.
love that. I love
Awesome.
that. Let's see. It says, "Is it okay?" Let's see. Ginger Ale, I have your magnet. Sorry. Is it okay to buy all the games and everyone else gets a gift for Christmas from the 99-cent store? LOL, JK. Listen, I'm gonna give you. I'm being totally fine. Maybe just invite those people over for a play or two.
Yeah.
So you're going minimalistic
You're like-
here. It's not
I'm-
about stuff.
Oh, you just want digital goods.
It's about love.
fine. Just some skins.
Exactly.
Rad, man. Well, I mean, we're getting the wrap it up signal from our fearless leader back
We
there. But
are.
the question is, we hit 1,500 just now.
Wow.
15. That's a huge thank you
It
to you
is.
guys
Yeah.
for watching this
Thank you.
secret squirrel and yet not so secret squirrel
Exactly.
first episode.
First show, yeah. We definitely didn't expect all that. So thank you very much
Yes.
for tuning in. We can't wait to bring on some pretty heavy hitter guests, which is pretty awesome. And we've got those planned. And so hopefully we'll be able to kind of share that in the next few weeks on who we've got planned. It is going to be a monthly show. We'd love to know if we should do it more often. I think for
Yeah.
us, well, besides Kate's running like 10 shows a day, we
Whenever.
yeah, we definitely have day jobs, but at the same time, this is something we like to do. We
Yeah,
can
sure.
we can cycle the hosts up. We got lots and lots of women here from Xbox that are just incredible and have lots of great stories to tell.
Yep.
And so, yeah, if there's anybody you want to hear from, we'll bring in other parts of Xbox as well. We've got lots of people doing cool stuff. Almost.
Well
did
played,
it.
my dear.
Almost.
I'm not
did
as good
it.
at that.
Exactly. But yeah, other than that, we'll we really want this is for you guys. So tell us what you'd like to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to follow us, we have a active Twitter and
we
Instagram
do.
account.
Yep.
So They are both at Women in Gaming,
That's it.
right?
Easy.
Okay, so that's our handle. It's pretty easy to find. And
Absolutely.
we'll be, like Nicole said, we'll be doing this every month. We'd
Yep.
love to hear your feedback if you have anything to say to us.
Yeah. Speaking of every month, what's coming up next month? Geek Girl Con. I just saw it in the prompt. That's the only reason.
I was like,
I was like, another show.
Nicole.
I was gonna say something
show.
about women's monthlies, but I was like, "What?"
I have
are
a
you
mic
s-
malfunction here. Okay, there.
All right, now it's gone crazy.
1500
we were
went to our
wrapping it up
head,
so
that's
nicely.
fair.
We were
That
on the
was
rails.
great.
and
So
I've
good.
taken it off the rails.
God bless you, Nicole. God
Bless me.
bless you.
Geek Girl Con. Yes. Actually,
Well, it's
when-
only a matter of time.
This is for I know. This is for Seattleites. So if you are in the Seattle area, there's an awesome conference here. It's called Geek Girl Con. It is all things nerdy. Even though it says Geek Girl in the name, it's actually open to everybody, and it's a really cool family conference. Actually, so if you've gone to PAXs, you know how it can be very overwhelming.
Oh, God,
There's a
yes.
lot of people there. This one is a really neat conference in that, you know, you bring your kids, everybody dresses up. It's like very cosplay. And I've seen like the most amazing cosplay like period. It's just like whenever kids are involved,
God,
it's all over.
Yep.
So you can come and play. There'll be games there. There's panels. There's activity workshops. In the past, we've done like game design workshops. So that is in Seattle at the end of October. I think it's the 28th. We should be back in time for the next show, so we can talk a little bit more about what's going on at that show if people are interested. But definitely check it out at geekgirlcon.com.
I'm reading the prompter.
Oh, if you want to
Oh,
see
we
more
want to see more
Kate.
of Kate.
Who doesn't?
Wait a minute. I mean, I do appreciate that. Thank you, Lennox. You can watch This Week in Esports. That's at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on Thursdays. However, later today, it's the Kate Cat Show. Just kidding. It's all
The Cat
access.
Show.
Gears All Access, as hosted by Kat. Eat Kate.
And Kate.
And what is it about?
Oh, it's so good. Have you?
I haven't watched it yet.
I
Sorry, Rose,
have.
I haven't watched it yet.
I
I'm
have.
watching it literally right after
But
this.
no spoilers at all. But the teaser was released yesterday, so if you want to check it out, go see the Esports Gears Twitter.
That's right.
But it's all about our amazing talent.
I do know that, yes.
Yeah, at the events. So all the casters and analysts and people who work in the background
So
to
very
make.
happy right now.
Yeah, so definitely tune in at 5 p.m. today
5
because it
p.m.
will be great. Yep.
At what is it? Gears All Access? Gears?
It's
Gears of War. So it's
mixer.com/Gears of War.
And live.gearsofwar.com.
Live.gearsofwar.com.
I really should
You
know
almost
this.
got it
We
right.
both should. But because
guys
there's
the
also
hosts of this
skins
show or
available.
what?
Who's to know? But if you want skins,
Oh,
I assume
yes.
there's some. God, I hope I didn't just
That's the thing
promise
that makes
something.
people tune in.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, but yes.
Yep.
And of course, you guys, listen. You can follow. We're almost at 200 followers.
Oh,
We're at 1,565 viewers, but almost at 200 followers. We're 3
Cool.
away. Will you be lucky number
hit
200?
that follow button.
Hit that, smash that follow button. Smash it. Now 198. We're just gonna stay on here until you.
We're not
now
leaving.
203. There you
Okay.
go.
Awesome.
That's how you end the show.
And
That's
that's
how
the
we
end
end.
of
We
the
can't
show.
end it
Nicole,
on a
over to
higher
you.
note. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next month.
See you.
Bye.